Hello and welcome to another episode of the Maritime Warrior. This time we're not doing wrestling, we're doing something a little different. We're talking about sumo wrestling. Last Basho just ended. I am joined, of course, by Cory Show of the BSHL podcast.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just, I'm here, ready to talk some sumo.
And I also am joined by, this is his fourth time on the channel, second time recording, Vice President of the Beausejour Senior Hockey League, Connor Smith. How's it going, buddy?
Hey, guys. Nice to finally meet you. How are you?
What a troll.
So here we are. The Basho, the sumo tournament for May, just ended a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. This was Connor's introduction into sumo. What did you think of sumo? Because you asked me a bunch of questions about it. Did the best I could to explain to you, divisions and rankings and all that. Cory helped you with that too. What did you think of your first Basho?
Well, it was great, and I watched from the bottom division right up to the top division the first day, and then based on the results of the first day, I realized that none of those ranks actually matter. So I can't believe I wasted 40 minutes trying to understand something that completely got ripped apart right in front of my eyes. It's interesting. I get it now. I think the thing I struggled with was divisions versus ranks. It made no sense to me.
Yeah.
Because, from a hockey standpoint, it's just it's junior, blah, 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 and they're just players. You know what I mean? Whereas these guys are all in different divisions, and then how many wins do you need to go up and all that thing. Apparently that doesn't matter either. It just happens.
Yeah.
So, welcome to sumo wrestling, where nothing actually matters. It reminds me of, you remember Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, where the points don't matter? Yeah, it's just sumo wrestling. Welcome to sumo wrestling, where the points don't matter.
Yeah. Cory, you haven't been watching that much lately, but this one with Connor being into it, you kind of got into it a little bit more.
Yeah, I watched a bit. I tried to catch some of the daily recaps at the very least, and then I don't know. There was a few weekend nights where I would wake up at 5 a.m. and I'd start watching live because there's just something about watching it live. Sometimes it's kind of fun. Connor, where were you watching it when you were watching it live?
What's his name?
Leo Dickinson.
Leo Dickinson, yeah. I'm subscribed on Twitch now, and subscribed on YouTube. He has been doing replays. Man, the amount of stuff I learned from you guys, and then the people in his chat is crazy. I feel like I've been watching sumo wrestling my entire life now.
Do you comment in the chat, or do you just exist?
Well, I will say that in both the chat with you guys and his public chat, I predicted who was going to win on day 2. So, I feel like maybe I'm a natural now. But no, it's tough though because he has sometimes there's 800 people in there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then you realize it makes you feel like you know more. You're less distracted with trying to get to know it when you realize there's people in the chat who've never even seen it before.
Yeah.
I had seen it before, but I just didn't follow it, right?
Yep.
Akibano was in WWE for a little bit. Mm-hmm. There's been sumo guys in the UFC. I know it exists. I just didn't know it's as accessible as it is. Which, it kind of isn't because,
no.
Whatever network it is over there that does it, is it Abima? Get a better network connection. We should not be in the top division and not being able to see what's happening.
Yeah.
That happened more times. I forget what fight it was.
That's the one thing about sumo is in North America, it's really hard to watch. You have to find streams. You have to hope that those streams can get a decent connection. Cory, you found something where you were watching them all a day later.
Yep. The NHK YouTube channel. So this is the TV station that airs sumo wrestling in Japan, and they upload it. Here's the thing.
It was great until day 13.
Japanese take the weekend off. So there was nothing uploaded on Saturday and nothing uploaded on Sunday. So for day 14 and 15, you have to wait Monday. And I think the final episode came out on that Wednesday. So 3 days after so I had found another way to watch it. There are ways around it, even if it's just a match here, a match there. Connor actually found the top 5 bouts of the day, which helped a lot. I saw most of it. Did I miss some? Absolutely.
How could you not miss some? There's
Yeah.
some guys I still don't even know who the hell they are.
No,
Like-
here's the thing with Cory and you guys watched the full live streams that last like 100 hours. I've never done that. I've never
8
done that.
hours. It's about 8 hours.
Yeah, I will no longer, now that I've watched like the last, because for the first 4 days I was really into it, right? Like I have my sleep schedule around it and everything, and I was watching right from the bottom up, and I got to know a lot about it. And then it hit me like midweek. I was like, nah, man, I can't do this for 2 weeks. So I got more into like the top division. Then I was watching the second division a little bit. But then by the end of it, I was like, you know what? I really only care about that Ukrainian kid that's really good. And I don't really give a shit about anybody in the second division, because like if they're that good, they'll be in the top division next tournament anyway, or like a tournament later. I don't care about them right now. It's hard enough trying to remember who all 40 of these guys are, because a lot of them kind of resemble each other.
Yeah.
Like, just with the way that they do their hair and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like some of them
the hair is tradition. Everybody has that. Everybody wears the mawashi. It's funny because it sort of is like pro wrestling, because you're given a stage name. And
right.
if you're higher ranked, like a big Yokozuna, like Hakuho. Hakuho is still known as Hakuho. He's earned the right to be that name. Greatest Yokozuna ever. But someone like let's say Hokuto Fuji, he retires. He's not Hokuto Fuji. You can't keep that name. That was your stage name in sumo. Like the color of the mawashi could be your gimmick. The way they throw the salt, like when they they're on the stand and they're like doing some pose or whatever. Like there was this one guy called him the snow thrower because he'd compact some salt into his hand. Cory, remember this guy?
Yeah, I know what you
I
mean.
think it was Teru Tsuyoshi, I believe. He'd like compact like a big ball and he'd just throw it in the air. And just, it was incredible. That was his gimmick. But let's get into day one. So Connor, you watched day one, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Yokozuna,
All of it.
Yokozuna, Teruno Fuji.
Oh wait,
Ozeki's-
no. I watched day one because you guys had introduced me to it technically on day two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
day one had happened, I went back to watch it, but I missed like all the chaos that I'm sure you're going to get into here in a minute. Because I watched Teruno Fuji's first two matches, and then I was up late and messaged you guys about what happened.
Yeah. Day one, Yokozuna, Teruno Fuji, and all the Ozekis, Takakeisho, Hoshoryu, Kirishima, and Koto Zakura, who that's his new name now, all lost. Which is rare because those are all the top guys. Those are the favorites going in. Chaos already on day one.
It's surprising to me. If I feel like this is every sumo, and this is probably the one thing that I don't like about sumo is I'll be into it, I'll start watching. Day one or day two, people start losing. By day 4 or 5, everybody that I enjoy watching starts bailing out. And it's so depressing to me because I want to see Teruno Fuji. I want to see Takakeisho. They both, day 3, they were both out. So right there, my interest starts to wane. I don't know. I understand it, but it's the one thing about sumo that I struggle with the most. It's like, I feel like it's like back when I used to play, Xbox, and I'd play franchise mode in NHL. As soon as I'd lose a game, I just turn the console off, turn it back on, restart the game, then win it. Yeah. That's what they do in sumo. They basically turn their console off and restart. It's ridiculous. Except they don't restart. They wait till the next Basho.
So it's crazy too, because if you look at like their ranks, the two guys that were ranked at 14 finished at 10 and 5, Raiden and Oshama. And then if you look at like the Ozekis and the Yokozuna, only 2 of them had a better rank. Had that rank or better. They finished 10 and 5 and 11 and 4.
Yep.
So Cory, it's worse than that. They pulled out they pulled out after day one. So day two, Terunofuji and Takakeisho are not even there.
No.
So they have one match and they lost.
I mean, you could be injured. I get that, but also I'll drink my water.
I forget who it was though. They got hurt on day 3, and we're back on day 4.
Takayasu.
You gotta want it.
Yeah,
to do that.
Takayasu is one of my favorite guys. Takakeisho, Takayasu, and Ura are the guys that I choose to follow.
Cory loves
Takayasu,
Abi.
I hate Abi. Absolutely hate Abi. The arms and legs of sumo. We got these freakishly long arms and legs. It's freaky. But Takayasu is an interesting one because he's the perfect definition of always a bridesmaid, never the bride. Never won the top division, had plenty of chances to do that, but never able to get it. So I just want to see him get it sometimes. He's like the Bucktooth JCs. I want to see him win a championship at one point.
He had a good run here too. He was like 7-3 or something.
Yeah.
7-3
and whatever his. I believe he just missed out on Kachikoshi.
Yeah.
My two favorites right off the bat, Hokuto Fuji and Tamawashi. They like fought back to back, and I was like, "Oh, these guys are." But it had got to like I would just watch so like low level. Then there's the bottom ranks of the top round. Then those two came on, and then like once I did more research, I was like, "Okay, well these guys are vets." But man, compared to the guys in the second division, they look like they're wrestling on a whole different planet.
What is the difference to you when, like, having watched like level 1, you start watching, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Why is there nobody there watching?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 8 hours to watch online. There's probably some kind of like, I would assume with that crowd, you have to wait in line for like probably at least an hour. So you're looking at a 12-hour day, really, if you're going to go watch the whole thing. And if you're one of those fans that's there for the whole 2 weeks, you're definitely not doing 12-hour days every day. Or at least I'd hope not.
Cory is zoned out at the moment.
I got a bug on the ceiling.
I'm going to fly on the wall.
It's a friggin' ant. They are infested here. Ono Sato.
Okay.
Looked fantastic this Basho. We're not going to spoil to the end, but spoiler alert, he did pretty well. On
Spoiler
day 4,
alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Really well.
On day 4, he's 3-1, looking really, really good. This guy, this was his first Basho where he was able to have a top knot. Like the last Basho, his hair was still like too short to put up. Is this guy the future of sumo wrestling?
I mean, I would say when I started watching, I guess now about a year and a half ago, he was barely in second division, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He might have been, he was second division, I believe, when I started watching. He was good, and he catches your eye because you're watching second division, you're like, that guy's clearly winning, dominating. I didn't think he'd do this well at top division, but yeah, I think you got to think the one thing he has is youth, and because of that, hopefully he can avoid some injuries, because we all know that's where you start to go down.
He was runner-up last Basho, just fell short, and spoiler alert, I guess this time he wins it.
I think there's 3 that are going to be the face for at least like the next 5 years, bearing they stay out of injuries. Takara Fuji. I mean, it really sucks for that guy that he announced that he wasn't even going to go in, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, he takes this one off. There's him, there's Onosato, and there's Kota Zakura.
Yeah.
I mean, Kota Zakura being the oldest, he's not even 27 yet. He's 26.
Yeah. That's Koto Zakura you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll butcher the pronunciation of about 95% of these.
This guy just changed his name, so his grandfather originally was Koto Zakura as well, and he was a Yokozuna. And he waited, and a lot of people do this. They wait till they get to a high rank to change their names. If you have no family in sumo and you're just doing this, whatever, like Kirishima went by another name just last year. Koto Zakura was, I believe, Toko. I don't remember his name. His name back. There are so many freaking sumo wrestlers, but this guy really is. How was the word I'm looking for? He's not old. He's not young. He's just at the right spot right now. He's an Ozeki. Did pretty well this tournament. Don't think he did as well as he wanted to.
I think it was a lot of people thought it was his to win until it got to the last weekend.
Yeah.
And then Onosato really turned the jets on.
Yeah.
Because, he was undefeated, I think, until he hit the 11th match. Something like that. Like, he went a long way with no losses.
Yeah.
Compared to, the rest of them.
Yeah, and it's been a while since we've seen, I believe it's been since the Hakuho days that we've seen like 15-0 tournaments. They were a lot more common 4 or 5 years ago. But great bouts this Basho. There was one Mitakeyumi versus Meisei.
Yeah.
Which was really, really good. Another really good one was Ura and Mitakeyumi again. Mitakeyumi seems to be someone he's no spring chicken, but he could still do some damage in a Basho. What were your thoughts on him?
Honestly, just looking at him here, I don't remember much.
Same, which I don't think is a very good sign. I think he just kind of is one of them.
Like, I could pick probably 7 or 8 off of them, this list, that I watched every fight.
Which would you?
Hakuda Fuji. Let's see here. Ura, Atama Fuji. Temawashi, that's 5. Onosato, Basho, and Koto Sakura. So there's 7. I watched those guys every time. I don't know what it was. They just kind of struck me because they're all kind of a little bit different. The younger guys, I like some of the older guys too. It's funny, there's not really anybody in the middle of the pack that I thought was like, just based on age range or how long they've been along. Not very many of them that I was like, oh, these guys are good. They're just kind of there because people know who they are.
Yeah.
And they've won enough to stay relevant.
Yeah. Speaking of winning, on day 7, no more undefeated Rikishis. So there will be no perfect record. At that point, by day 7, would be Saturday, the first Saturday. It's still up in the air. There can always be someone that, all right, they might have a loss or two, and they go the entire rest of the tournament without a loss. At this point, like midway, who were you looking at and saying this guy's probably winning?
I really thought it was Onosato's. I don't know. We had some chats. Abi was looking good at one point. Abi is somebody that I like to troll you with. But I don't know. Hoshoryu was looking good at one point as well. Yeah. It's tough because you always know that there's that threat of injury, and then it changes everything in sumo.
See, I think on day 8, when Onosato beat Daisho, I was like, yeah, this guy is taking it.
So he still had a week there. See, this isn't the BSHL, so I don't have to be unbiased. Hoshoryu, I hate him. I never liked Hoshoryu. He loses to someone, and he has this look like, I can't believe you used that to beat me. Like, what a cheat. And, like, he'll always, like, he'll win, and he'll have this cocky look on his face. I never liked him. And he's one of the most favorites there. But I never liked him. On day 9, Onosato gets his second loss. He's still in the lead, I believe. I don't believe he lost the lead.
It's really funny you say that because I was just looking at his record, and it was any time between day 6 to 8 that I thought he was going to win because he beat some pretty highly ranked people in those 3 days. He beat Koto Sakura, Atama Fuji, and Daisho, and then he lost the next day, and I said, well, this is why I don't pick favorites.
Yeah.
And then he won. So I felt better after he won. But, like, it got to a point where, in Leo Dickinson's Twitch chat, people had no idea who was going to win that final day.
Yeah.
Because if Kota Zakura would have won his match, I think, the day before, they really would have put it up in the air.
So I was wrong, actually. Onosato did lose the lead. He lost the lead to Shonano Umi. And he was the sole leader for a day. He lost on day 12. And I believe he was in the lead with Koto Zakura, Onosato, and Shonano Umi, and Oshoma with a record of 8-4. I believe it was.
I think around day 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there was when Connor asked us who we were liking for this tournament, and Cory was like, I really like Uda. And then it just went to shit for Uda.
Yeah, right after you said that, he was out of contention immediately. The second you said it, bam, done.
I think Uda went 7-0.
Yeah.
And then lost 8 straight.
Yep.
Like
immediately after you said that. Like, you're the kiss of death in sumo.
I am the kiss of death, so I'm gonna start cheering for Hoshoryu and Abi. Is what I'm
An interesting stat. So Takara Fuji won the last Basho and became like the quickest person to to win, right?
Yeah.
So the stat on Onosato is he's the quickest to win from his start in the career of sumo. Because he started a little bit after Takara Fuji.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
On day 13, Koto Zakura and Onosato, they are in the lead, 10-3. On day 14, Onosato is the sole leader, 11-3. And on day 15, Onosato wins the Emperor's Cup with a record of 12-13. Thoughts on him winning? Thoughts on him? An impressive performance for only a second major tournament.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it here. It says he won his first top division championship in a record 7 tournaments. It's the quickest anybody's ever done it.
Wow.
I think Connor called it early on. I think day 3-4 when he said he thought that this guy was going to win it. Apparently Connor is like the divine god of predicting sumo in New Brunswick. I don't know. But I'm happy for him, man. It's fun. I hope next Basho we see guys stay a little bit more healthy and he can really get challenged by the Treno Fujis or the Takakeshos. It was what it was this tournament. But yeah, good for him. Good to see younger guys doing so well in sumo, which certainly does make it very interesting.
Well, I wonder too, would Onosato have done such a good job if Takakesho and Terunofuji hadn't pulled out of the tournament? Same thing with Asano Yama. Like, they were technically the same rank, right? Just on opposite sides. I mean, he wasn't scheduled to have he beat Terunofuji on the first day.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
here's the thing: if
he
they
beat the
pulled out on
Yokozuna
day
on the first
one,
day.
if they pulled out on day one, like after day one, there was a legit injury. Usually, 1 loss, okay, 2 loss, starting to sting. 3 losses, my ankle hurts, my back hurts, my hair.
I have a hangnail.
Something like that. After 1 day, there has to be some legit injuries, and with Terunofuji and Takakesho, we see them less and less and less.
Yep.
And Takakesho especially, he's still in his late 20s. He's not old at all. I started watching him. He was in his early 20s when he first won his first Basho. I think he's won like 4, and he's made a few pushes for Yokozuna. 2 of them actually.
Yeah,
both failed. But I think that was it for him. I think Ozeki is his ceiling. Terunofuji, he's a Yokozuna. He's the only Yokozuna. He decides to retire. There's a lot of responsibilities with that. That's your top draw. That's your Hulk Hogan right there.
there's a lot of discussion too that the Japanese Sumo Association is trying to hold on to him despite being injured as much until somebody else gets promoted to Yokozuna, so they're not left without one.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if you're without a Yokozuna, you have to promote someone.
Right.
And it has to be an Ozeki. And there are 4 Ozekis there. If you're going with tenure, Takakeisho is your guy. Takakeisho is no better than Terunofuji right now.
Right.
Hoshoryu, he's the next guy that would be after Takakeisho. Wins and loses. You never know. Kirishima, he's not even going to be an Ozeki. He's lost his Ozeki status. He was Kadoban. Yeah, he lost his Kadoban. He's going to be a Sekiwake. He needs, I believe, 10 wins to get back to Ozeki. Koto Zakura would be your best bet for youth. And it's not even like, I think he's like Takakeisho's age. He might just be a couple years younger.
Here's my thing with that. The only question I have for that. Onosato is going for Ozeki and the next Basho, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he retains the same record, and let's say he has a horseshoe up his ass and he wins again.
Mm-hmm.
He goes straight to Yoko, right?
I don't think so.
No, really?
So my question:
you need another win after that, or another like 14 wins, like runner up, because you have to have some time at Ozeki, I believe. I don't think you can jump from Sekiwake to Yokozuna.
Let's say he wins and becomes it'll be his first tour. He's already becoming an Ozeki the minute he goes into the next Basho. He's an Ozeki, allegedly. It's what they're saying. That he's been promoted, or they're going to promote him either before or after the tournament. So let's say he gets a good record, has some good wins. Koto Zakura doesn't win. Onosato may win or not win. How do you promote Koto Zakura over Onosato when he beat him this Basho?
So I'm reading right now about the standards, and the standards are if you win 2 consecutive tournaments as an Ozeki, you become a Yoko. Mm-hmm. You have to win 2 as an Ozeki. So he would have to win 3 in a row right now, theoretically.
Right, but I'm just saying if Terunofuji were to retire,
yeah,
they have to promote somebody.
They'd go like legit. If he would retire, I think the next guy in line is Takakeisho, and I think that's why they're like holding on to Terunofuji. Terunofuji's trying to get one more tournament win, which would make him a Dai Yokozuna. Dai Yokozuna is the top of the top. Like there, even in the Yokozuna, there's a ranking. A Dai Yokozuna is 10 wins, 10 tournament wins. The greatest record ever for top tournament wins is Hakuho, with I believe 45 tournament wins, which is a country mile ahead of number 2 that has 32. 2 and 3 is 32 and 31. And right now he's trying to get that, but Terunofuji's done. Like he's just not there. He's not a good Yokozuna. He's not a good Rikishi. I hope he proves me wrong, but he hasn't looked healthy in maybe a year and a half.
It's interesting too when you look at Onosato's record. So this is his 7th tournament. He's won a Sancho in the last 3 tournaments. He won the Fighting Spirit in January, the Fighting Spirit and Technique in March, and then in May he won the Outstanding Performance in Technique.
So he won this tournament too. He won the Outstanding Performance Award, and he won the Technique Prize. Oshoma won the Fighting Spirit prize. And in Juryo, the Juryo winner was Wakataka Kage. And so
will we see him in the next
Wakataka Kage? Yes. I hate saying his name because it is such a tongue twister. He got injured a year ago, I believe. And
he's only 29 too.
Yeah, and he like dropped like below Juryo even. Like he had to start from the bottom feeders and work his way up. And now he's just smirking all these guys. He won, like in Jurio, he won like I don't know what his record was, but it was like he clearly won that one. So he's
But
going to
he
be in
won
the
the
top
top
division.
division. He won the top division in 2022.
Yeah.
So he's
And he
already
got
had
injured.
his. So is there anybody new that'll come up that will be brand new to the top division? I guess we won't know until they release the rankings, right?
Yeah, we won't know that. Here's the thing. You have guys that'll do bad that go down, and you have guys that do good in Jurio that'll go up. But sometimes, it'll sort of like stay like how it is, and maybe the winner will go up, and maybe there's one guy that'll go down. Because if all your top guys, like in this one, all your top guys did poorly,
Right.
except for Onosato, who was a Komusubi. But Takakeisho didn't do good. Teruno Fuji didn't do good. Hoshoryu, not so good. Kirishima was piss poor, just not good at all. And the lower guys, the Magashita 15, 14, and all that, they all did okay. So how do you bring someone down to Jurio if they did pretty good? So with
Right.
Wakataka Kage, he could potentially go up. But who goes down? Because I think there is pretty much unlimited spots. I'm sure there's a limitation, but you could have a couple of the Komosubis, couple of the Sekiwakes, couple of Ozekis, couple of Yokozunas. The most I've seen while I was watching was 3 Yokozunas at the same time. But when it comes to the Magashiras, it's 1 to 15 east, 1 to 15 west. And those 30 spots, there's only 30 spots. So if you're fighting for a spot in the top division and the Magashiras did well, it's the top guys that didn't, how do you justify bringing someone down? Even if you won the tournament.
Yeah.
Right.
So, next tournament.
My favorite thing about sumo is the little that I know about it. It's exciting that it's something new, something to learn. It's cool that Connor's into it, so we're all kind of learning together here with Grandmaster Cory to teach us. It's a fun sport. As hockey fans and as UFC fans, we all enjoy a lot of different sports. But sumo's, I think, what makes sumo special to me is that you only get it every few months.
Yeah,
it's not always there.
No. Next tournament is July 14th to the 28th, which is right when I'm not working. So
Leo Dickinson Sumo on Twitch.
Even.
Yep. Are you looking forward to the July Basho, Connor?
I am. I was going to mention too with Leo Dickinson Sumo.
Yep.
If you subscribe to his YouTube channel,
yep.
For as low as $1. You can watch the whole day you just missed just with that. Because he can put it in like the subscription
private
thing and make it a private video.
Oh.
There's 4 or 5 of them that got taken down. I never thought in my life that I would be a fan of sumo. Like, I always thought it fascinating, but it's like I said, I didn't know.
And spending money to watch it.
I only spent $1. Well, 8, I guess. But I mean, that guy, man. His sleep schedule has to be screwed up every single night he's on there. I'm following sumo Twitter accounts now. I'm finding out before you guys already who's in, who's out. Like, it's good. It's just, man, it would be nice if they were a weekend long, not 15 days. 15 days is a lot, man.
They've always, that's been well. They did change it like in the early 1900s, I believe. They changed from 10 days to 15.
Okay.
Because sumo goes back all the way, supposedly, to the 1600s. Like, if you go and look at the early Yokozunas, there is a video of every Yokozuna. And it's interesting to see because the early Yokozuna is the only way that you can that you know that they might have existed is through drawings and like There was one Yokozuna that was said to be over 400 pounds and over 8 feet tall, and and it's like mythical things
Yeah.
like that clearly probably didn't happen. But the first Yokozuna, the first like official Yokozuna that there's actually a picture of him is from like the late 1800s. Like other than that, it's all like drawings.
That's kind of cool, though. I've got to go look that up now because I want to see drawings of 8-foot tall, 400-pound sumos. Probably pretty skinny if you're 8 feet tall and 400. I mean, you got to be pretty
There's
shape.
for anybody who might feel like, oh, how do I get into it? This sounds cool. Leo Dickinson Sumo. Until Leo goes down, don't even try to find it anywhere else because that guy's got the best coverage.
I watched, and for years it was fine. They did not. There was
worse than
no
New Japan with taking down stuff. Like,
yeah,
don't you want
but this
fans?
one? There was one called Sumo Nato.
Yeah,
or Nato Sumo.
Nato Sumo.
Nato Sumo, and that one was never go away. It was always there, and no problems. And a few years ago, it got so bad where you would start to watch it, and mid-show it would just like cut out. And it's like, yep, this video's gone. This channel's gone.
I recommend Leo Dickinson on Twitch because Twitch doesn't take stuff down as much. So,
and the thing about Twitch too is that even if they get taken down, Leo will go on his backup accounts. He's got 2 or 3 of them, and then if he finally gets hit, he'll send you to like another streamer. He'll like, oh, go to the Discord. We'll pull it up there or something like that. Like, but I was gonna mention too. If you need to follow along, because I'm using it right now, the Japan Sumo Association website, there's a part of it called Find a Rikishi.
Yeah.
You can look up anybody, and it'll give you all their stats, how many wins they've had, where, and whatever, like who they fought, all that stuff. There's this Ukrainian kid. He's in the Makushita division right now. He in Jonakuchi. He was in Jonakuchi in November. Fast tracked to Jonathan as number 10 in January. And then the last 2, he's been in the same rank. He's only lost, let's say, 14, 13, 26. Trying to do math here. In over 55 matches, he only has... Wait, that math wasn't right. 14, 12. What's 14 and 14? 28?
Yeah.
So in 30 matches, he only has 2 losses.
It's impressive.
He's not at the top division yet, but I mean, this is a guy that's not even from where sumo is even relatively popular. Like, came over from Ukraine. He's just turned 20 in March.
Yeah. It's interesting to see that sumo does like John Kenta Earthquake. He was a sumo wrestler.
Canadian kid.
Yeah. Canadian king. He's from British Columbia.
Well, I remember there's a Canadian kid that tried to get into sumo a couple of years ago, but was like completely bullied out of it because he wasn't from Japan. Like, I feel like you have to at least know somebody in it that'll take you under their wing in a stable and make sure you're good.
It's still very old school.
Well, the only way to get into it is like to compete with the guys in your own stable. So, I mean, I can understand that some of the guys don't want to help them.
Like that,
you're literally going to train with the guys that are going to take your fame.
You just said it right there. In your own stable, you won't fight your own stablemates. So Taka Keisho and Takanosho, they're stablemates. They've never fought each other. You don't fight your own stablemates unless you're tied for the top division prize, and then you have to fight in a playoff round. We nearly saw a playoff round, but it wasn't to be. The weirdest playoff round I ever saw was a 3-way playoff round, which was won by, I believe, Abi when he beat Takakeisho.
Yeah, that was about a year ago.
Yeah, which made me that's when I started to really hate Abi. So July 14th to the 28th is the next Basho. You guys interested in doing this again?
Yeah. You can find us on Leo Dickinson Sumo on the weekends. around 5 in the morning, if I happen to wake up to take a piss, you know that my sleep's screwed. It's like that's my kiss of death. If I wake up to go to the washroom anywhere after 4:30 on a Saturday or Sunday, I'm screwed. There's no way I'm going back to sleep. I'm going to hop on Leo Dickinson Sumo, and I'm going to watch that until it's done.
So before we sign off here,
Yep.
Cory, Connor, thank you both for coming on. Before I say this final part, favorite for the July tournament, who you got?
Gonna ride my boy Onosato.
Onosato again as well. Yeah, I think he's only on the rise.
If it's
is
not
this guy
him,
your favorite?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm even looking at buying T-shirts with him on it.
Oh,
I found one, but it was only in a 2X, so I got to drop a couple pounds and then I'll fit in it.
I'm a Takakeisho guy. It can't lie.
Takakeisho, really?
Yeah,
Koto Zakura too,
Takakeisho.
though. Like, it's him or Onosato. Like, I'd be really surprised if it was somebody else.
I think when you're early on in sumo, whoever like is doing well in your first tournament that you watch, you kind of get attached to. And for me, I started watching Takakeisho was on one of his sumo pushes, barely missed it that first tournament, but yeah, I'm hoping he comes back healthy next Basho because I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, if we want to give it to my first sumo love, let's go Hokuto Fuji. Let's win that thing.
That's a hard one. Same with me, though. First tournament I watched from beginning to end was November 2018. Takakeisho's first tournament win. I believe it propelled him to Sekiwake, and he went to Ozeki. He dropped out of Ozeki at one point, and next Basho went straight back in, and has been there for a few years now.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling back to see who I told you guys my favorite was the first night I watched it.
Who's your favorite to win it, Cory?
I'm going to go with you guys and say Onosato. I think he's got something to prove.
Yeah. That kid's special.
I think I'd love to say Takakeisho. I'd love to see him get a fifth Emperor's Cup. I think his time has come and gone. I think those two pushes for Yokozuna took a lot out of him.
Yeah.
His legs aren't there anymore. His neck is really messed up. I think within the next year or two, I think he's potentially retired.
No. It's too bad for a guy as young as him.
Yeah. So before we leave, any other things you'd like to you would like to say?
I just checked. I picked Onosato to win on day 4. And I'm going.
That's what he has to say.
Yeah, that's what I have to say. And other than that, I think that's it.
Wait, if I have the kiss of death and I pick Onosato, am I jinxing him?
Probably.
Oh, geez, maybe.
If that happens, I hope he comes to your house and falls on you. Man, if you're gonna feel bad for the people in the crowd, eh?
It's a dangerous sport to watch, man.
Don't catch me down there on that floor in those little boxes.
No,
that's not my thing. Fun to watch, though.
We're gonna end the video here. I want to thank you both for coming on, and we'll do this again in July.
Cool.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right, take care, everybody.